realize life is so much more than just living the day. Every day I can sit and reflect and breathe and connect to myself and know that I've been given. See, giving up is not an option. So when I'm looking at gray skies, I'll be adopted. A new way to deal with a test. Lord, relieve me of stress and bring me looking like when blessings drop in. And so I cop myself a cup of coffee, sip it while the rain is softly, cleansing me of stress I hold. Hey, cop myself a cup of coffee, sip it while the rain is softly, cleansing me of stress I hold.
Okay, we're back. I actually visited the school yesterday. I actually have a video somewhere. I'll probably show you tomorrow, the cold, barren room there. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you that we are broadcasting on YouTube. At least I am. So if you click the link in Teams there, the advantage of clicking that link is that you'll see it in 1080p rather than 720p, and you might be able to get a bigger screen. So that's my suggestion. You don't have to do it. You can just look right here on Teams, but it's a lot clearer when you click that link, and you'll see everything that you see right here, and you'll be good. Okay? So got a lot of stuff for you today. Today we're going to talk about the marketing concept, which piggybacks on what we were talking about yesterday about marketing. A couple notes. Remember, we have our midterm the third week of January, late third week, beginning of the fourth week. I was putting in some grades last night. Make sure that you pick it up. You know, the school really does press calling parents and things like that. And the weird thing about that is that whole thing about, you know, calling parents. Let's go back the last 30 or 40 years. That thing was kind of more geared toward little kids. You know what I mean? Because, you know, an 8-year-old kid's not necessarily going to keep up with their homework, and you can't really, you know, talk on a one-to-one basis with an 8-year-old student to try to get them to, you know, do their homework at night. That's where you kind of need to call the parents. So I'm not a big proponent. I mean, I do call if I really have to try to get you to work, but you know, 99 times out of 100, I just contact you and we speak on a one-on-one basis privately. You know, hey, let's just get the work done, and that's it. And that's what usually works, even though the school policy is a little bit different. But I always think that that was kind of more for. I'm not trying to run away from the work. It's just that the whole concept is kind of weird. You really should, teachers should, number one, you know, develop rapport with the student and get it done. So I'll be contacting you privately over the next couple of days if I haven't already, you know, to make sure you get the work done, because it's not that hard, and you know the grades will be coming up in really 2.5 weeks, something like that, and this is not that difficult. So enough of that. Yeah. Today we're going to go into the marketing concept. We'll look at a few things that we looked at yesterday. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. Boom. Yeah. All right. So we were talking about the definition of marketing. We had said that, you know, it's all the processes that you need to reach, you know, the customer. And that answers this question right here that I really wanted to ask you. I should have kind of blocked this out first. But, you know, why is marketing important to the business? Why is what we are doing in this chapter important for you if you're going to start a business? And like we just said here, the big reason is that it helps you take care of all those things along. Think of a number line. All the things that get you from 1 to 10. They take care of that, and that's really, really important. All these processes. Okay, so why is this important? it takes care of all the processes. If anybody wants to add anything in the chat room, that won't show up on YouTube, so don't worry. Nothing will show up on YouTube except this. So why is it important? Okay, this kind of relates to yesterday and the start of the chapter. So today we're going to talk about the marketing concept again, just for a few minutes. And why, if you remember yesterday, I showed you a video. Why have we moved from just producing a product and saying, well, this product is great. It's going to sell. I'll just make a new and improved one when it starts falling off in sales. Well, that has changed. And if you remember, it went from, our product is the best. It will sell. We're talking late 1800s all through up until, even to today, they still use the product orientation, but it's not effective, and we're getting farther and farther away from that. The marketing concept is quite superior to that, and it's quite superior to the selling concept, which means you just have to advertise your product and it'll sell. So let's take a quick peek of the various parts of the marketing concept. We looked at this yesterday, okay? And number one, it meets the needs of the customer, okay? You're not going to say that, I like my product, it will sell. No, you look at what the needs of the customers are, okay? So always think, what are the needs of the customer? Okay, this is what Apple does. Okay, this is what every large business does that you hear about. Anytime you see ads, they're thinking about what you need or want. Okay, and of course they're doing it because they want money, and we'll get to the third one there in a second. All right, so then also the concepts help you develop and market products that customers consider better than other choices. So you're competing with other companies. You're in a competitive market. So you want to make a better product than they do. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why marketing helps products, because they're going to make them better. It's like, this is what happens through competition. Your products get better. And then finally, as we mentioned yesterday, you want to have a profit. Okay? Who wants to run a business unless you're making a profit? Okay. Now, there are non-profit businesses. We'll talk about them in another unit. However, the people working for those non-profit units make money. So, all right. So, hopefully everybody understands that. If somebody in the chat would just tell me that you can see me clearly and you understand the marketing concept. If you don't, I'll go over it again. But the main thing is what does the customer want or need? Okay, make a good product and let's make some money. That's it. That's the marketing concept. Okay, instead of, I think my product will sell. Okay, marketing concept. It's about the needs and the wants of the customer. All right. So if you're in the chat, tell me you can hear me and you can understand. All right. I think we have a doubling of our audio here, so I'm going to get that fixed up. I can hear. Excellent, Adrian. You're getting extra credit for that. Next assignment you hand in. Oh, at a point. How's that? See, I like the communication. All right. Thank you. All right, I think the audio is going to be a lot better now. I had two of my audio inputs on at the same time. All right, so we're going to move ahead, give you some things today to look at. All right. Now we go into what's called a strategy. Okay, so you know that customers You got to find out what the customer needs. But the question is, what do you do? Okay? It's like some of you who are part of the entrepreneurship club. You're going to be starting a business. But after you find out that maybe kids want backpacks or whatever these people want, how do you go about figuring out how to do this? Well, that's what that thing is, the marketing strategy. Okay, it's going to be a plan, just like anything else. You have to have a plan, like a budget is a plan for saving and spending. Well, in the same way, a marketing strategy is a plan on how you're going to achieve your goals. You want to get to that customer. And in fact, I'm going to show you in a bit a screen where we're going to talk about Larry Brin from Google and how that became something. Because years ago we had Alta Vista, Hotbot, Netscape, all these search engines, and then all of a sudden Google comes by and they take it, and they were all essentially doing the same thing. But one became the king. So this is why this thing, the strategy, the plan, is what you really want to look at. How am I going to do this thing? I know what they want. Now how am I going to achieve the goals? Okay? All right. I think we're okay. Any questions? Put it in the chat. And if you can tell me if it does look clear on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. I know that's 1080 right there. And if I put my 4K camera on, it would be even clearer, but I don't want to go through that. I think on Teams it's 720. All right. Here we go. All right, let's go to the next scene. All right. Before we get to Google, and discuss Google, if that's going to be our discussion point, what kind of things does the strategy do? This is your plan to get to that customer that wants your product, whatever that product is, whether it's a pen or a car or a telescope or whatever. Okay, what do you have to do? Okay, well, here is the plan over here. Okay, these are the things that you must take care of if you're going to have a decent marketing plan. So anyway, a lot of these things are going to look like the 4 Ps if you really look at it. But first of all, you've got to introduce your product to people. They have to know about it. Okay? Now, I showed you some... No, I didn't show you. I mentioned the commercial from Apple. Okay? Maybe I should find that with... let me see if I can find that for you while we're talking here. I mentioned to you that Apple has commercials now for their watch. And what they're doing is they're gearing that watch to people who want to use the watch for their health, to feel safe. So let me see. iWatch new commercial. Yeah, let's see if I can find that for you. We'll watch it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, this is one I want to... I'm going to show you this one. Yepers. Okay. So let's do that. Commercial. Okay, we're going to watch a commercial, folks. Let me...
911, what's your emergency?
Okay. And it has a lot to do with product info. I mean, people need to know about your product. All right, let's do this. Hopefully you'll be able to hear. I'll get me out of the way and make it look like I'm part of the video here, which I'm not. There. I'm up here. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's look at this product introduction, about the product. How do you want to frame it in the mind of the customer? Okay, so here we go.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, I've been in a car accident. My car slipped. There's water getting in the car and I can't get out.
911, what is your emergency? I came out paddleboarding and a hard wind is pushing me out to sea.
Okay, do not hang up.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm here at the farm. I broke my leg straight down 21 feet. I sure need help quick.
Are you by yourself?
Yes.
Have you tried to get out? Have you tried to bust the window or something?
I'm pretty far out in the ocean.
I can't get to my cell phone. I'm talking on my Apple Watch.
Try to keep talking to me.
Okay.
I can't fight the wind anymore.
It's getting deeper. It's getting to my neck.
Please hurry. I'm hurting real bad.
You're going to seek help, okay?
I see them.
You're opening the door.
Hold on. Are you in an air pocket?
I'm just at the driver's seat.
Okay, so your head is above water?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's go back to the strategy there, the product intro. You didn't even see the watch there, right? You didn't see the watch at all. So I want to ask you, what, if you were watching that, what are your emotions about what you saw? How does that affect you? You can put that in the chat. When you saw that, hopefully you heard that. Okay. Now, what do you think about that product, having seen that commercial? Didn't even show you the watch. Just put it in the chat. You might get extra points. Okay, you're honest. You're honest. All right. Well, let's look at it this way. Let me put in a new scene here. All right. Let's look at it this way. You did hear the story, Adrian, right? You heard the story about the guy who was on the windsurf board, right? What was happening? There were 3 stories that you heard. 3 stories. Somebody was in their car. Somebody was on the farm. There was some kind of issue. And then somebody was on the ocean. What was going on? Again, not once did you see the iPhone, the Apple Watch. Okay. In fact, one of the persons where their car was flooding, she said there was a pocket of air. See, if you have your phone with you, you can call 911 too, right? But it's unlikely you're going to carry your phone when you're on a surfboard. It's unlikely that you will be able to get to your phone if your car has filled with water and you only have a little air pocket. But if you have an air pocket, right, you're obviously putting your face up to get whatever air you can, and there's your watch. You see? Good. Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you. He was drowning. That's okay. Drowning. The man was drowning, or the woman was drowning. Okay. Each one of those people were in trouble. The guy who was, thank you. What if the watch is? Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. Tyrone just asked, what if the watch is dead? All right, well, here's the thing. The watch, and let's go back to, let me see if I can dig up the iWatch here, okay? I'll take you there, so don't worry. All right. iWatch. All right. Let's look at some of the specs on this watch, because we want to know, is this thing, it's got to be waterproof now. You know, we know the iPhone is not completely waterproof, okay? It's water resistant. Okay, here you start seeing the health thing, most durable. Let's find out whether it's... Now, don't forget, if they're able to keep their hand up, Tyrone, if there's an air pocket, even if the watch is susceptible to the water, it's going to be okay as long as you're, above the water. Let me just see here. Okay, there's your answer. Okay, it says it's water resistant, swim proof with WR50 water resistance. Now, it's crack resistant and dust resistant. So there's some footnote here. But perhaps we can find that footnote. Footnote 2. Maybe it's at the bottom. 2. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to blow it up, because this is the footnote 2. Here we go. Now, I'll put the pointer in here so you can check this out. It's good to have footnotes sometimes here. Okay? So it says here, the Apple II Watch series and Watch 3 series have a water resistant rating of 50 meters under an ISO standard. That means that they may be used for shallow water activities such as a swimming pool or an ocean. However, they should not be scuba diving, water skiing, or other activities involving high velocity water or submersion below a shallow depth, because obviously the pressure of the water. Like if you dive into 3 feet of water, it feels a lot different than if you dive into 12 feet of water. Okay, so Tyrone, to answer your question, because that's a good point, to answer your question, yes, it would be okay. In that person's situation in the car, the most you're going to have is a couple feet of water, 3-4 feet of water, which you can die if if you can't get the car open, you can't bust open the window because of the pressure from the water. You're in real trouble. There's a famous, very, very attractive TV journalist. She was host of NBC News. Her name was Jessica Savage. It's a famous story because she was from the Philly area. And she was at a restaurant where there was a canal, a restaurant right in Philly. And she couldn't get out of the car. She was only in a couple feet of water, she and her husband. But it was a canal, maybe 3 or 4 feet of water. The car was in it. And this is a famous, famous person. And they found scratch marks on the top of the car. The hood inside the car, because she's trying. But with an iWatch, she would have maybe had a chance. Let me see if I can show you that one. It was a real tough. I don't know if they can. Let me see. If I can show you here. Yeah. Let me see if I can throw this in as an extra scene. All right, let's do this. Nope. Yep. Okay. So this was Jessica Savage. She was a host for NBC News. She was a host for Channel 3 in Philadelphia. And it was just a really tragic accident. She was in her car. She was at a restaurant. It rained really hard. The car somehow went into the canal. And that was it. She couldn't get out, nor could her boy. I think it was her boyfriend or not. I can't really remember. But we don't want to lose track of the point we're trying to make is that the information that Apple's giving us now, this is perfect for that strategy because, again, they know that people want to feel safe, right? So how do you do that? And before the iWatch, they never talked about safety. This was just a cool thing. Hey, I can be like Dick Tracy and I can make a call from my iWatch. But then people said, who cares? I'll just use my phone. But the phone's going to be different when you're in trouble. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. And the situation where somebody's on a surfboard and they're out in the Atlantic Ocean, there's only one or two people that happens to a year on the coast of New Jersey, as far as I know. I don't know. But those are rare instances. But when you see that commercial and there are, people in trouble, it hits you. You know what I mean? Yeah. His life is in danger. What if the watch is dead? Is there a type of product that lets you call 911 when your device is dead? I'm not an expert at this. I know I know that on the old iPhone, even if you run out of power or you run out of minutes for your plan, they will let you call 911. And I think there is a little bit of extra battery for it. Like those, I think that's, don't quote me because I may be wrong, but there is something different about 911 when you call on your phone. In fact, you can even, don't do this, you can even dial 911, I believe, on your phone without even lifting the receiver, and sometimes you can they call you back. It's, that's serious business, because some people sometimes try to call 911 and they can barely even, lift the receiver, so, not a need for, exactly, not need for the watch. Yeah, I'm not, look, I'm not saying that this is the thing to go buy. I'm just saying that this is a strategy for them. I think it's effective because it's better to say, to show those three scenes. I don't know if you agree with me. You can, put in the chat room if you want. But it does pull on your emotions because there's not one of us, meaning you and me, there's not one of us who can't imagine themselves being out on that surfboard and being, windboard and being blown out into the ocean. You're alone and, I don't care who you are. That ocean's going to get you. It has no mercy, the ocean. And it's not an easy way to go. So it does pull at your emotions, and and what's the one thing people are afraid of more than anything? Death. Nobody likes even talking about it. Oh, don't talk about it. The minute you talk about it, it gets people freaked out. Okay. Here's a great comment. I really like this. And not because I know you're saying that in earnest. It's very effective. That's a smart idea to create a product that saves lives. That's it. You're stating exactly what it is. They have a product that's going to save your life. And for what, $500? I don't know how much they cost. We're going to go into the prices later because we'll get into these other things. We're not going to have time today to do that. But if you can understand that when you introduce your product, they have to clearly know, meaning your customer, what's this for? Is it for me or not? You've got to connect that. And I think Apple found a way to find a new customer, somebody who probably wouldn't buy the watch in the first place. There are people who like to say, hey, this is cool. I can, use the calculator. But I know Mr. Masonette, I know he's counting steps. I don't want to get personal with him or anything like that, but I know he's doing the step thing. Saying, I took 10,000 steps today. So he had a real reason to do that. Perhaps I should get one, The watch also sends your coordinates to the fence. Now, I didn't even know that. And that's a great point. You're getting extra credit today, too. That's really cool. So, yeah, you don't have to hold, the phone is a pain in the neck sometimes. You're putting it in your pocket. When you have that watch, and you're in some real trouble. You're in the trunk of a car that someone put you in. And by the way, if anybody ever tells you to go in the trunk, my opinion is don't go in. Okay, just say, forget it. I'm not going in that trunk. It's never good. But imagine if you're in some real trouble. You know, you're up in a mountain or you're in the forest or somebody's after you, which is a possibility. One only has to look at the news and you say, geez, you know, it's crazy. Our whole society is crazy. That watch, at least what Apple's saying, could try to save your life. It's the same thing that I said about the light bulbs, right? I mean, who would buy a $40 light bulb? Well, you know, if you can do this, right? If I can all of a sudden do that, and I can put this thing on to, you know, to wake up to. It goes on at certain times. I can use it as an alarm in a certain sense. You know, if the light's really bright, you're going to wake up. And this thing lasts for 15 to 23 years. You know, then, you know, you've made your strategy, okay? Now, you notice I haven't even gone on to the rest of these. And that's okay, because I really want you to understand that this is what we mean by a strategy. If you don't understand how to connect that thing, just like what Apple did, you're not going to make the sales. And probably Apple, I mean, I don't know how long the watch has been out. What, 3 or 4 years? You would know more than I would. It didn't sell well. It really didn't. Now it's selling. And like Tyrone said, this is effective. Okay? I mean, you don't even have to buy the product to know that's effective, because nobody likes to be under deep stress, you know, like nobody likes, I can't breathe. Nobody likes, you know, I'm thrown in the trunk. Nobody likes this. That's a bad situation and you need help. And, you know, had Jessica Savage had the, you know, iWatch, there might have been a shot. You know, somebody could have taken a rock and just jumped into the canal and broken that glass. She can't break the glass from the inside because the pressure's too great. That won't break unless you had like one of those special things. I don't know if you heard about those, but yeah. All right. We're not done 5-1 yet. We're almost done. I'm going to finish this up tomorrow, and then I'll open it up tomorrow. I just want you to, your assignment is when you watch these commercials, think about the strategies being used here. There's something involved. What is the product intro? What are they trying to say about the product? That's trying to grab that customer who you think or they think needs that product. And that's the bottom line. Okay, so that's the marketing strategy as we know it so far. We'll get to more of that tomorrow. I really appreciate everybody taking part there. And we'll get into this tomorrow. But watch some TV and see if you can, you know, pull a strategy out. And maybe if you figure one out, give me an example and we'll give you extra credit tomorrow, because 2 people already got it, and I got to write that down. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.